we have Richard Gottlieb, the CEO of Global Toy Experts on. This man is the foremost expert on toys. We're just talking off camera. First of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Enjoy being with you. Thanks for having me on.
We're just talking off camera. There's a great product over there, and you were telling me why it wouldn't sell to girls as well as it would sell to boys, just because of one little thing they could tweak with that product. It's amazing how much you know about the toy industry and also about male versus female consumers.
Sure. No, I was looking at a really an excellent-looking product. It's a lock that you set with your phone and you unlock with your phone. It was really cool, but the lock was silver, and guys may like that, but girls aren't going to want to have a silver lock that looks like everybody else's silver lock. So, what they need, what's missing, is they need some design elements, maybe a DIY, so whoever the user is can design their own look on the lock. Maybe licenses like Hello Kitty, Star Wars, etc., and maybe even make cell phone cases that match with the lock. So it's that type of thing that you need to think about when you're trying to market to, say, a female consumer versus a male consumer.
Well, and here's the thing that's so interesting. You're not only, what you're doing, what you're talking about is you're not only opening up to a whole new audience, you're also not leaving money on the table because you're creating other products that are around that, additional products that are around it. And I think that that's awesome and exciting as well. Now, talk about some of the trends that you see that are in the toy industry. Obviously, we love our WowWee toys. We give them to all our guests. They're super fun. These are the Electro Kids. Right. These are fun for adults and kids. What are you seeing as the trends in the toy industry right now?
Well, I was just in Dallas last month for the kickoff for the toy industry for 2015, and I would tell you, I can't tell you what I saw at WowWee, but they got some big stuff planned coming down the road. But essentially, we're seeing a lot of robotics, a lot of interesting things in robotics, artificial intelligence, and we're seeing a lot of what we like to call a convergence play, which is phygital. It's this combination like you see with Skylanders and Disney Infinity, where we're linking physical play and virtual play together. And what's really important, what's happening now, is your viewers who are younger know that for them, there's not a straight line between what's virtual and what's real. It's all kind of real, you know? And so the toy industry's finally getting that. So we're seeing more seamless play.
What about in gaming? Do you see, it seems like more toys are becoming part of video games and gaming, and I don't mean like figures, I mean actually participating. Like, for instance, at New York Comic Con, we did a lot of great coverage. We interviewed a company called Triforce. They make some amazing stuff, and they're basically taking toys from the games and building them like you would buy, and you would think you would go in and buy like a water gun of a replica of a toy in a game. But instead of a water gun, it actually can be used to play the game. And I thought that's so cool. Are we going to see a lot of that stuff?
You're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see, and I think what you're going to be seeing is a realization that if you're a company making things to play with, tools of play, if you will, you're going to have to engage your end user as much as possible, which means engaging them online, means engaging them virtually, engaging them through media, so that they experience the brand in a various number of ways. Deeper brand engagement.
You've been in the business a while.
I have.
What is? I always think of the movie Big when I think of the toy business. I love that movie.
Yep.
I'd love to be him in that movie.
Right.
What is?
I have been him.
I was going to say you are him, right?
Right. I have been him. Yes.
What is the coolest toy you've ever seen or come across that to this day, when you think of, and it could be something you've seen last week, but to this day, when you think of it, you get a big smile on your face and go, "Wow."
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. It was a number of years ago, and it wasn't a high technology toy, but it was. 10 of us were sitting around a table looking at inventions. And somebody brought out a paddle that had a drum head on it. So when you hit the ball, it boomed like a drum. And it sounds antiquated now, but at the time and everybody stood up at the same time. And I think that was the most exciting moment I've ever had. Just stood up, because it was like, whoa.
What's been the most successful toy you've ever seen, or maybe the most surprisingly successful, where you were like, I don't see this working?
Well, I would tell you that I think when we began seeing, and these are not toys per se, but intellectual property, like
Sure.
SpongeBob and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of came around at the same time. And those were like bizarre if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, a sponge, and he's square.
Right.
And he wears pants. Or,
And a tie.
Yes. And teenagers who are mutants, and yet they're turtles, and they know all kind of martial arts. And so at the time, it was like, because I was in the industry at the time, you kind of go like, really? And it just blew up.
You remember Teddy Ruxpin?
Very well.
Did you think that was
I
going
went
to be...
drinking with Teddy Ruxpin several times. Just kidding.
Did you...
Not kidding.
Teddy Ruxpin suddenly became Ted.
Right, Ted Ruxpin. Theodore Ruxpin.
Did you think that was going to be a success the way it was? I remember this thing. I wanted it so badly. I got one. I was lucky to get one, and it was so much fun. I remember it had a cassette tape player. You would change the tapes and hit
I'll tell
play.
you a funny story. A lot of people don't know, but roughly 50% of the original Teddy Ruxpins were defective.
Really?
And were returned. Yeah.
I think mine was. I'm going to send it back for a refund.
Well, it was in the early days of tying technology to toys.
Yeah.
In that way.
I love that thing.
And it just weren't ready. It wasn't quite ready for the marketplace. But no, it was a great first step.
What do you look for when you go toy shopping? What do you look for? Do you watch people react to the toys and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of it is, I call it making the bunny hop.
Yeah.
Does it make the bunny hop? If you're a consumer, and do you get a jolt when you see it? Is there something about it that excites you? And I tell you, a great toy doesn't just excite you on the store shelf. It really needs to excite you at home too. It needs to have great play value.
There were some pretty cool toys I've seen here at Endgadet Expand.
Yeah.
What did you walk away saying, this is going to be great?
In terms of a toy or just what I've seen?
Well, I mean, there are some toys, and then there's a lot of good tech. So I'll take both. I'll take toys first, and then just general tech.
I've seen some things that I think that are very, very intriguing in terms of where they're going to be. There's some folks here that are showing a small toy that allows a grown-up to send a voice message that will play. It'll be like a little piggy.
Mm-hmm.
And a piggy can sit next to your bed. And so if you're a grandparent, you can do a voicemail to the child, and the child can play it later. So it's kind of a cool product.
That's one of the ones I saw that I thought was super cool, right?
I
travel a lot. Being able to have my son have fun with this toy and then interact with him is super cool.
Well, I'll tell you what it does. I'm sure your folks are familiar with Build-A-Bear workshops.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, well, when Bill, actually...
Wait, I'm sorry. What's that? No.
I visited the first store when they first opened.
Where was that?
St. Louis.
Wow.
And it was like really happening. And I wanted to get a feeling, what is this all about?
Yeah.
And I was in there, and there's that part where you take a heart, you grab a heart out of this, it's like these paper hearts, and they sew it into the bear's chest.
Yeah.
And these two grandparents took that heart, and they wrote something on it, and they were crying. And I found out they had a grandchild who lived in Oregon, and they were sending this bear to them. So they were crying because they were connecting with that grandchild who was very far away. And I thought, she's not selling bears, she's selling connection. And so what they're selling with those
is a connection.
Is connection.
Yeah, and that's why I was so intrigued by it. And we're going to have them on before this is all over, said and done. What about tech? Just general tech. What is the most exciting thing you've seen for you?
I was very taken by this camera. It's quite expensive still.
Yeah.
That creates that you can do your own virtual reality photography.
Okay.
So you could actually go around your home, take pictures.
I kind of saw that for a second. Yeah.
And so then you can walk around your home. So currently, it's designed really for professionals to be used, like by real estate agents, to show you how to walk around a home. But what I was saying to them is if you could get this down to something a consumer can use, how cool to be able to do virtual photography of your house and then do games, getting around your house. So I thought that was a very potentially exciting.
Well, and if you and I put the goggles on, you could be in California, I could be in New York, and we could run around the same
your house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I think those locks were very interesting to me. I was telling you about in the beginning of the thing.
A lot of cool stuff. Are you into cars at all?
I'm into cars. I like cars.
There's a company called Push over here. And they have something that's so amazing for motorsports, and we're going to have them on, and I don't even want to spoil it.
Okay.
It's just unbelievable. So that's exciting. And coming up next is Escort. We're going to talk about radar detectors and the technology they've got in those things are unbelievable. There's just so much stuff. It never ends here.
Well, it's a great.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that it's an impressive group
Yeah.
of entrepreneurs who are here,
Yeah.
who have created some phenomenal products. I mean, it's just exciting, and they're exciting. So
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool event.
Very cool. Richard, thank you so much for joining us.
Enjoyed
Richard
it.
Gottlieb,
Great.
do you have, I imagine you have one of these already.
I'd like to accept the Academy Award on behalf. No,
This one's the
no,
collector's
they didn't
one,
give
the
me
gold
one.
one.
They
They
didn't. Give me-
didn't.
No,
That's
they
got to
didn't
be
give
like
me
a major oversight.
I was
Well,
pretty
I'll tell you
shocked.
what.
I was pretty upset.
We're going to give you one.
Okay, well, thank you.
How's that? Somebody
Thank
needs
you.
to hand me
Yay!
one. I need an electro kid from Wowee.
I am.
And I think we got one right over here.
Uh,
We're still getting organized here. We're on a few minutes before our scheduled time slot.
I would like
so
to
that's
thank
for you.
and the Academy.
Yes.
for
Well,
this.
that's from Wowee. They
And
make
Wowee.
the MIP.
Wowee, yeah.
They make this and a ton of other great toys. This is cool because you turn it on, and then
Dances to the music.
it dances to the music. Is right. It has a nice little bump bump bump. The
So I
hair
will no
moves
longer
and all
have
that
to
stuff.
dance alone.
I love it. Exactly. And what's cool is you can put it on top of your desk, and when you're having a bad day, play some music, and the hair moves, and you start smiling.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye,
so much
everybody.
for joining us. We'll be back right after this with a whole lot more content from Endgadet Expand in New York City at the Jacob K. Javits Center. Stay with us.